She keeps on passing me by. Remember that? The Far Side? That was crazy. She keeps on passing me by. Shout out to them. This is Big Vern. We had a great show on Wednesday. We talked some Illinois Fighting Illini. I think it had more to do with Michigan falling apart, crashing and burning this season, and how they've overpaid for Wink Martindale. Then we talked about Billy Napier. My goodness. And I like him, but I did not see what they were going to do to Kentucky. Kentucky got waxed in Gainesville. Then we talked some Kansas State football, how Kansas State is playing no games. Kansas State is a really good football team, and they're playing really well down the stretch of the season in this last gambit of games. Them and Iowa State, they're on a collision course for a season finale that is sure to be very entertaining. Also, we did talk some Iowa State football when they matched up really well with the UCF Knights. That game was good. Like I said, heavyweight championship fight. And like I say, it had everything. The theatrics, it had the suspense. It was really worth watching. And if you didn't, then I'm sorry. You missed a great game. Finally, we're going to talk some SMU Mustangs. Now, this is their debut in the ACC. The Mustangs are very dangerous. And I don't know why people aren't really watching them. And I'll hear the argument, they beat Stanford, a 2-5 team, and Stanford plays ugly. They play ugly football. We've covered Stanford on this channel to the point at ad nauseum. However, you shouldn't let that overshadow a great victory for SMU. And I know a lot of people, they're not really looking at SMU as being a threat because they haven't been a threat in quite some time. And then the whole death penalty thing and people coming back and bringing a program back, yada, 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 ESPN. But I just wanted to look at this dude because I think Kevin Jennings doesn't get a lot of love. And that's just me, because Kevin Jennings is probably one of the best quarterbacks who snuck up and put his name in the hat for guys to watch. And the reason I say that is that this kid is already 1,336 yards on the season, 9 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. And he's a sophomore. So that means that he has the potential to get better. And okay, so when you say, Vernon, I don't believe in them, they put up 21 points in the first quarter against Stanford on the road. They put up 21 points in one quarter. That was an explosion of offense. At halftime, this thing was 31-7 at the half. 31-7 at the half. And you just thought to yourself, I know Stanford can turn it around. They're going to go ahead and do something to get back in this thing. They got burned for 322 yards through the air. Stanford's not going to beat anybody in this world rushing for only 33 yards on the ground. Period. That Mustang defense was nothing to play with. 33 yards, not a quarter, not a half, the game. Give me a quick 20 from an unofficial sponsor of the show. This is Big Vern. Drop the spot. Taco Bell, Live Moss. Order online, download the app, or visit the good folks at your local Taco Bell. Taco Bell, Live Moz. If you have the app, you can try the Big Cheez-It, you can try the Cantina Chicken menu, online exclusives, and the Cravings menu as well. If you go into that online exclusive, there's the Veggie Build Your Own Cravings box along with the meal for two and many more. Taco Bell, Live Moz. About the Taco Bell, make sure you get you some tacos tonight and watch the NBA. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and keep on rocking here with SMU. So when you look at the pitiful, just horrendous numbers that Stanford was able to attribute, put behind the 8 ball in third down efficiency 15 times, they only converted 2 of those. That is, oh God. They ran 72 plays. Y'all ran 72 plays and only came up with 10 points. That is ridiculous. That's a Mickey Mouse football team. You ran 72 plays and only generated 10 points. Really? Really? And I don't know what's even more bizarre when you have a situation like SMU. They had 10 penalties for 100 yards. They spotted you a football field and you still only produced 10 points. Just abysmal. Throwing interceptions everywhere, and then you held on to the ball for 32 minutes and 45 seconds. That's not good enough to beat anybody. I don't even think you can beat a YMCA team with that. Come on. That's insane. And so let's looking forward, because that's going to be what it is. Next, the Mustangs, they get to Duke Blue Devils. That thing is going to be in Durham, North Carolina. They have Pitt. That's going to be at home. That's going to be a rough and tough football game, because Pitt, they play rough and tough. It's ugly. It's real defensive. Like I said, it's a real defensive struggle with them. Those guys are not high flyers. They're hard hat, pale lunch. We're going to go ahead and keep this thing in between the trenches. This is going to be a defensive fight. You probably are going to win this game 10-3 or something like that. That is a defensive juggernaut. Then they get Boston College at home. Then they go on the road and play Virginia, and then they close it out at Cal. The Cal game could be a scary game. It just it depends. It depends. I know Cal, their first season in the ACC, it's underwhelming right now. The California Golden Bears, they have a record that they've amassed where they just lost to NC State. And so they're 3-4 right now in the ACC. I don't know how they gauge success. I really don't, because again, I give the commissioner of the ACC a lot of credit. He went out and got a lot of sneaky good teams. And the sneakiest good team that they pulled in was the SMU. I think Washington is okay. I don't know what you do with that, No, Washington is in the Big Ten, but Cal, you have UCLA is in the Big Ten. They got some, I don't know who they picked up. Yeah, that's weird. Okay, they have Oregon State. Yeah, the ACC is pretty much one of those things where you just like, wait a minute. You picked up Stanford, Cal. I thought it was in SMU. I thought it was more teams than that. Yeah, Stanford, Cal, and I'll be honest with you, looking at the way that this shaped up, even Louisville's at 4-3. They're behind Georgia Tech, and they beat Georgia Tech. Syracuse is 5-1 overall, 2-1 in the conference. A lot of these games are still left to be decided, but sitting at the top of the crown It's Clemson and Miami. And then you have SMU and Pitt. So that is the top 4 in the ACC. And 2 of those teams have to play each other and go through the smoke. So, we'll wait to see what that looks like. But congratulations to the Mustangs, and we look forward to seeing more of them here down the stretch and maybe in that college playoff. This is Big Vern. Well, that's the show. Thank you all for sharing, liking, and subscribing to the content. I hope you had just as much fun as we did here in the App Stupid Studios. We will be back on Friday bright